So welcome back to the channel. Now, a little bit of a different style of video today. What I done is I put on my Instagram a Q&A box saying that I was going to be answering the questions on YouTube because I can go a little bit more in depth. I can expand on these questions rather than either talk for a minute or 2 minutes on Instagram that people don't have time for. So if you're in the house, get a coffee, get a tea. I've got quite a few questions to go through, or even better, this will get you through your steps or your cardio. So let's go into the first question, which is going to be, do you see yourself in Dubai long term? Smashing it, brother. Now, with this, do I see myself in Dubai long term? I really enjoy Dubai. I like Dubai. I like what it has to offer. I like how convenient it is. Do I see myself here long term? I wouldn't say so. For the main reason, not because of anything against Dubai, like I generally love the place. I think for me, what will bring me back, whether it is the UK or just somewhere in Europe, would be kids and family. Being closer to my parents, being closer to my missus's parents, I think that would be the main thing that actually pulls us out of Dubai. I don't think there'd be anything else that would make us move back from Dubai, but from family. So when I have little kids of my own, that would be the reason why I move closer to the UK. So next question, what was your family's reaction to the situation in Dubai? So if you don't know about what's happened in Dubai recently, it was a bit of carnage, to be fair. So my father's reaction, he was okay. My father was just keep an eye on things. If things escalate and get worse, let us know. But he knows that I'm not dull as such. Like if things got terribly bad in Dubai, then I would have just gone back. It would have cost an arm and a leg to bring the cat on the plane. But if it was that or death, then I would have 100% just got the cat on the plane. My mother's reaction, completely different. She thought I was an idiot staying in Dubai. She's like, why don't you just come back? But for me, living in Dubai, it's a lot different to what you see on the news. Like, yes, it was bad, but in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as what it came across on the news from what I seen. I just was following Gulf news, keeping on top of things, keeping my wits about me, and I let my parents know that if shit does hit the fan and it gets seriously bad, I'll just get on a flight and I'll come home. But then the cat will probably have to stay with them because I wouldn't want to be paying another $5,000 to bring her back to Dubai. What's your current training split? So my training split at the minute, I'm running push-pull legs off, push-pull legs off. So 3 on, 1 off rotation. Personally, I enjoy it. I had this new split when I came back from my photo shoot in Marbella. So been running it since June last year, so around 10, 11 months, I think now. It took a lot of getting used to at the start. The main reason being, I was doing push-pull legs, upper, lower, like push-pull leg rest, upper, lower rest. So I knew that my rest days were on a Thursday and I knew that my rest days were on a Sunday. So that was ideal because I could factor in, like I know, like, right, this is my set rest day. Whereas when you're doing a 3 on, 1 off, your rest days can be on a Monday and then a Friday, but then a Tuesday and a Saturday, then a Wednesday and a Sunday. So that is the only disadvantage with the 3 on, 1 off. But I enjoy it. It's like push A, push B, pull A, pull B, legs A, legs B. So they are different sessions, and then I just rinse and repeat that. Right, so next one. Opinions on steroids if you're not competing. Now, this is something where a lot of people, bodybuilders, will say if you're not competing, then don't take steroids. What's my opinion on it? Truthfully, it is your decision at the end of the day. You're going to do what you want to do. Taking steroids to compete, like, what do you actually get out of competing? It's one of those where it's not like you're going to make a shit ton of money unless you're top 10, unless you're Chris Bumstead and these sort of guys. So it's like, if you're going to damage your health, whether you're competing and taking steroids, or whether you're a lifestyle client or a lifestyle sort of athlete and taking steroids. But if taking steroids, for example, like testosterone, is going to make you feel better, it's going to make you perform better, it's going to make you recover better, you're going to have better cognitive function, you're going to sleep better. If that is going to benefit you and you are in control of all the other variables, then I wouldn't see no harm in it. The part where I see harm in is when people abuse anabolic steroids. For example, they don't even know what they're taking, but they've been told by a meathead in the gym, take this, take that, and then it's their first cycle, they're taking all the drugs under the sun, and they don't know what on earth they're taking. That is a lack of education and just stupid choices. So what I would say is, if you are competing or not, think about taking anabolic steroids, at least have a very good baseline level of knowledge, be willing to get your blood work done, be willing to take your health supplements, and there's no safe way to take anabolic steroids, but there's safer ways to take anabolics. So my opinion on steroids, if you're not competing, I've got nothing against it, as long as you are not taking the piss with anabolic steroids. So do you do anything other than gym? Apart from gym and work, not really. It's funny because me and the miss have been living in Dubai for over 2 years now, coming up to about 26 months. And it was funny because before moving to Dubai, I was like, every Saturday, we'll go down to a nice beach club, enjoy the sun. In the past 2 years, I've been to two beach clubs. One was when one of the boys came out and we just got hammered in one of the beach clubs. And the other one, I was there for 10 minutes, just meeting one of the lads. Says, if you're watching this, it was you. And that was me just popping down, having a chat and a catch up with him and then leaving. That was 10 or 15 minutes. I do need to do more in Dubai. I've actually created a list of things that I want to do in Dubai. And I created it in January and I've not done anything yet. So when I come back to Dubai, which will probably be around the September time, we'll try and tick off a few things. My parents are coming out in October, so we'll do a few things then. But because I'm just super busy with work in the gym, I do love my routine. I do love my routine. It's not because I don't want to do these things, it's just I prefer to do other things like work and go to the gym. But yeah, I definitely should be doing more. So next question. Do you miss anything aside from the UK? Do you miss anything about the UK aside from family? So, of course, family number one, being close with my sister, my parents, my grandfather, that is something that I do miss because, yes, you got FaceTime, and I FaceTime call them a lot, but you do miss the in-person connection, that is a bit difficult. But aside from that, what I would say the standout thing for me is just meeting up with clients, just having the odd training session, going for a coffee, for example, that is what I do miss a lot because I like that in-person connection. Even though online coaching is online, you can do it from anywhere in the world. I got clients in the US, in the UK, and I'm in the UAE. And we still get insane results. But for me, it is that in-person connection where you can just go for a training session. If your training days align, if you're going at the same time, and just bumping into people in the gym, bumping into lads in the gym, that is what I miss the most, in my opinion. How do you always wake up so early? Now, this is something where I always have done. I've always woke up early. I think this comes from my dad, because my dad has always woke up early. And then even from a young age, he sort of ingrained it into me, doing a paper round. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning before doing that, before going to school. And for me, I love my mornings. I love my mornings so much. In my morning, I can be super, super productive, and that is sort of my time. I love waking up when it's dark outside, and that is where I feel as if I can think the most. The first 3 to 4 hours of the day, that's where I can think the most and be very productive. So if you did want to wake up early, and you were struggling to, what I always do pre-bed is I lay out my clothes the night before for the following morning, so that when I wake up, I'm not like in the wardrobe, half asleep, like what am I going to wear? You know, I literally wake up, I grab my clothes, I get changed, and we crack on with the day. So it's very, very quick. And I'm a morning person. Like my alarm is set for 5:25, and the past 2 weeks I've been waking up at like 4:45, 5 o'clock, and I'm just like pinging wide awake. When you're in a fat loss phase, don't get me wrong, like my sleep does go to shit. When fat burners are in, it's even worse. But even in off season, I'd always be the same. Like if I was to wake up and it's slightly light outside, I'd be stressing out like I'm behind. So for me, it's what I like. Do you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be productive? Not at all. You know, but for me, that is just what works for me. And I love it. I love it. So what meal do you miss the most? I'm guessing this one is, what meal do you miss the most? It's a difficult one, you know, it's a difficult one. Keelan, I know you'll be watching this definitely. Your missus' cookies, hands down. Not that I miss them because I've never tried them, but 100% after I compete, I'll be hammering a load of them cookies. I am a big cookie lover myself, but I would honestly say, like, I don't want to be boring about it, but I would just say more oats. You know, I'd just say more oats, more volume. Like even after my photo shoot in Marbella, the first meal that I had and the one that I was looking forward to the most is getting back from the photo shoot, and I just had a massive bowl of cream of rice. You know, don't get me wrong, I put like certain things in the cream of rice, like more almond butter, had a cookie. I literally crumbled a cookie on top of the cream of rice. But food like that, like definitely. If I was to say like food off plan, I'd say your typical like your sushi, your Five Guys, Cheesecake Factory, food like that. I have just eaten a meal, so I'm not like super food focused now, but I would say Cheesecake Factory definitely, that is out here in Dubai. The Oreo Dream Cake is unbelievable. But yeah, sushi, Five Guys, or even just like a home cooked meal. You know, I've seen on Instagram just like a home cooked spaghetti, you know, which I'd love that. Like, say if I was doing some work, Mrs. makes a meal, we sit down at the table, we have like a home cooked spaghetti bolognese, some garlic bread. Nothing too fancy, but yeah, I'd say that, to be fair. Next question: are you competing in classic or men's physique? Now, this is a battle that me and Ben Bray are having. So Ben's my coach, and from day one, he said, you're doing classic. From day one, in all fairness, from day one, I said I will do classic. So we came out with the photo shoot prep, and I was like, yeah, classic, let's go for it. But the more the off season went on, I was just like, I don't think I'm feeling classic. I think I'm feeling more men's physique. The difference, if you don't know, men's physique is the board shorts, you know, that you just do like your front shot, your side shot, your back shot. Classic is more of a flow. You wear like the thongs, you're judged on your legs, your hams, your glutes, you know, you're judged everywhere, whereas men's physique is mainly just like your upper half. Now, for me, the only reason why I would be hesitant about classic is not because you're wearing a thong. I don't think that would bother me too much. It's the posing. The posing, I feel as if I would just be very stiff at. But then what I got to remember is I can get better at it. And if I was doing like a first time in a classic show, they'd all probably be the same. So I don't know. Like, we're 100% going for men's physique this year. But as I am getting leaner, I'm starting to look better in the classic poses. So what I may do is jump into a classic show. You know, like maybe like 2-3 weeks before it, just be like, yeah, mate, like fuck it, come on, let's do a classic show, and just no expectation and just see how I do. So yeah, it's up in the air. 100% men's physique. Classic is like a 50-50 at the minute. Next question. So let's have a look. What's your biggest goals for this year? So if we were to break this down, let's do personal, business, and physique. Let's do personal, business, and physique. So from a business standpoint, it's 100% just keep churning out the best possible results that I can with the lads that work with me. You know, the main thing that the main thing that I offer and the main thing that I coach for is to get world-class results. Not to get as many people through the door as I can. I want to know everyone individually, and the lads that work with me, I am very hands-on with things because I care about everyone's journey. I would say just as much as them, sometimes even a little bit more, because my main goal with you lads working with me is to get a result you didn't believe would be possible. You want to get from A to B, I'll get you to C. So continue improving my knowledge, my education, continue improving the service, but also just keep churning out fucking elite level results and building solid relationships and friendships through coaching. Personal goals, I would say definitely my parents coming out in October, just treating them to whatever they want to do. For me, I don't live a lavish lifestyle. I don't care about what car I drive. You've probably seen on the YouTube, like Nissan Sunny. I don't care. And when I moved to Dubai, I could feel myself getting sucked into that lifestyle, trying to look a certain way, looking at watches, looking at a car. And for me, I just was like, what am I doing? There is no need. For me, what I would much rather do is work extremely hard and then help my family. Not that they need help, but just give my family the things that they would really like, experiences that they would really like. So, for example, my parents coming out in October, spending a couple nights down the Palm, for example, going out to some nice restaurants, treating my mother to a nice gift. These things I would get a lot more enjoyment out of than going and splashing my money on a new car or a watch, these sort of things. So from a personal goal standpoint, is just, I would say, treat my family. They're probably watching this as well, so don't get too greedy. But yeah, in October we'll have a good trip. And then from a personal standpoint, what I would say, we've touched on business, touched on sort of family. I would say we said personal. Personal was the family. Physique side of things. From a physique side of things, do well in bodybuilding. This is going to be the only year that I compete. So enjoy it, but do well in it. Now, I'm going in with no expectations. I'm not being I only want to win. Regardless of the outcome, I'm going to be proud of the package that I bring and how I'm going to be looking. It's the process that I want to enjoy the most. At the end of the day, yes, I'm doing a first-timer show, but you can get some freaks showing up to a first-timer show that look like seasoned competitors. So the main goal from a physique side of things is do well in bodybuilding and competing, and then get healthy. Get healthy is number one, because another question which can roll on from that is, are you taking PEDs? Insane shape. Interesting question. All of the drugs. No. So that is going to roll on from the competing question. So like I said, I will be stopping bodybuilding after competing and getting my health in check, because I have been running anabolics for, I'd say, about a year and a half, and I will do a separate video on this because I could talk for the next 20 or 30 minutes about the reason why I started anabolics and the reason why I will stop, but to put it in short, the reason why I started anabolics was because I've always wanted to try them. I'll be completely honest. I've always wanted to try taking steroids to see how I feel and to see how I look. So it was going to be inevitable. But I can not feel myself going into a bit of a rabbit hole as such, but I was like, I'll do it for the photo shoots. Done it for the photo shoot. And I was like, right, I'm going to compete. So there's another year, and if I don't stop bodybuilding, it'll be another year and another year and another year, and then before you know it, I can be pretty fucked. For me, the main thing is family, and being healthy for my kids, and I don't want a decision that I have made to have an effect on that. You know, so I'm 27 in a week. You know, I don't know what age I'll be when I'm looking to have kids, but let's say it's in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't want something to come around where it's like, right, you can't because of a decision that you made by taking anabolics. So there is procedures in place that I will be doing after my last show in terms of the PCT, you know, to get things firing again. Will I... Oh, and the other one, blood work. I get fucking super anxious when I do blood work. Not taking the blood's fine, but when I get results back, like just seeing your results, majority of the time they've been good, but a couple of times they've been out of whack. You know, when you see something out of whack and it is your health, it's like, fuck, like I am doing some damage here. You know, so I'm not stupid enough where I will just take everything and anything and feel as if it's not going to have any implication on my health. Yeah, I can be looking great, but if your health is in the fucking bin, what are you doing? You know, so it is blood work, you know, your health supplements, all of these things. And like I said, there's safer ways to take anabolics, and I am taking them the safest way that I possibly can. But like I said, taking anabolic steroids is not safe end of. So it will be a case of finish bodybuilding. So from like a goal side of things with bodybuilding is compete in bodybuilding, do well, come off anabolics and just get healthy. You know, actually be fit. Not that I'm not fit, but maybe like still train like a bodybuilder, but maybe do like the odd run, the odd sort of conditioning session, and just be strong but also fit, where I could go for a 5 to 10k run and I can also go to the gym and lift some heavy weight. So yeah, I would say that personally, but I will do a roll-on video on like, am I taking anabolic steroids? And then I will give you like a full in-depth rundown of, like I said, the reason why, you know, the reason why for everything, why I started, what my feelings have been on it, you know, what I've experienced, and why I'll be coming off. So that will be a video coming out, I would say the next like 2 to 3 weeks. How much snus do you bang a day? Fucking too many. I need to slow them down, to be fair. That's another goal from a personal side of things. Cut down the snus. Because the thing is, when you're in a dieting phase, nicotine can help. But when you've got, when you're hammering them, then they're no good. So I need to stop taking them, to be fair. So we're on to the last few now. I don't know how long this video's gone on for, to be fair. But what is the biggest thing that stops getting people lean? Do you know what I would say is letting other people get in their head, saying you're looking too small, you're looking too skinny, eat this, eat that, you look malnourished, all these bullshit statements, or people that are solely fixated on scale weight. I want to get lean, but I don't want to drop more than 5-6 kilo of body fat. Like, majority of the time, you're going to have to lose a lot more than what you think. If you're just going for a body weight, like, right, I'm 80 kilo, and I want to get shredded, but I don't want to go below 75, but you're 18% body fat. Mate, you're going to have to go below 75. It's more like 67, 68 kilo that you're going to have to go to. So I would say people who don't want to go below a certain body weight stops people getting lean and getting the result that they want, and other people and people letting outside noise get in their head, you know, in the sense of you look small, you look skinny. These sort of comments which can affect people is another reason why it stops people getting lean. And the obvious, like, can't stick to a diet plan, can't stick to a training plan, misses cardio, the stuff that got them out of shape in the first place. So 2 questions that I can sort of answer in one is, why did you start coaching, and when did you realize that you loved coaching? So why I started coaching. So for me, when I was in the gym, I always loved helping people because I know how it made me feel. So when I started the gym, I was very anxious, skinny, didn't even tell anyone I was going to the gym. I was just going with my old man at the time. And then I used to love getting help from people, you know, asking someone a question and them giving their time to educate me. And then I always thought, like, I want to be in a position one day where people ask me questions and I help people, you know. So it got to the point where I fell in love with getting in shape, and I knew the impact that it had on me physically and mentally. and then I wanted to have a positive impact on the fitness space, in the fitness space, but also for me, I didn't get into coaching because I love training. I got into coaching because I love helping people. And that is a big mistake where people make. Like, people can go into coaching because they love training. But if you get into coaching because you love training, it doesn't mean that you're a good coach. So if you're thinking about being a coach, just make sure that you love actually helping people in the first place. You know, because if you don't enjoy helping people, or you don't have that sort of emotional support for others, then you're going to struggle in the coaching space, shall I say. So why I started coaching is because I just love helping others. I love helping others and really seeing their true potential and seeing the impact that I had, seeing the impact that the impact that I had when it came to getting in shape, being able to lay that onto others. I know what it can do for you mentally. I was in a bad space, 18 to 20, going out, getting hammered every weekend, you know, and then when I started focusing on myself, investing in myself, you know, and bettering myself, that's when I started to excel in things that I did. And I just want to see so many lads do well and have a positive impact on people's lives. And then when did you realise that you loved coaching? Is just seeing people fucking smash life. You know, like, for me, there is no better feeling than getting someone a result that they didn't believe would be possible. Changing someone's life, you know, having messages saying that, like, I've helped them massively, you've helped change my life, I didn't think I could achieve something like this. You know, for me, that is the main driving factor, and what keeps me going, you know, is helping so many people achieve a world-class body transformation at the highest standard, but not just physically, mentally as well. You know, like, for me, there's no better feeling. You know, if someone said to me, you could be the best bodybuilder in the world, or you could be the best coach in the world, it's the best coach, hands down, every day of the week. You know, I could stop bodybuilding tomorrow, I could never stop coaching, because that coaching is my number one passion. Then I just enjoy training. And then last question. What qualities do your best clients have? Now, the qualities that my best clients have. Number one, communication. Communication is always very high. You know, the best results that I have achieved with the lads that work with me are the ones that we are in frequent communication with. You know, I know them inside out. I know their values. I know where they're at. They never miss a check-in, and they try their hardest. You know, like, they've invested into themselves to get a result. But I've jumped on loads of calls with people, and it's like, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z. And then their actions don't align because it's hard, you know, and then they struggle to get the result, or they don't get the result, but they're not willing to put in the work. You know, the qualities that my best clients have is they don't complain, they get their head down, they find solutions, not excuses. They communicate with me when things are hard. You know, it's not a case of being like some hardcore guy, being like, oh, I can't complain, I can't do this. Like, you just communicate. You know, if something is very challenging, you let me know. Because if I know if something's hard and challenging, I can help you. I can change something. You know, so communication, number one. And then number two, just don't miss check-ins. You know, like that for me, if there was another question, what is the most frustrating part about being an online coach, I can probably speak for all online coaches, is people who miss their weekly check-ins. I've been coached for the past 6 years. I can count probably on these 3 fingers the amount of times I've missed a check-in. And that has been either because I don't even know why, but I would say 0. I have never missed a check-in, but surely I must have at one point. But I still would have let my coach know, hey mate, just let you know I can't check in today because of X reason. Can I check in tomorrow, for example? You know, check-ins are the most important thing in your coaching journey, you know, to make sure that you get the result that you're after. So that is what I would say, is communication, application to the plan, and work ethic, a very high work ethic. And people who like getting uncomfortable, people who like getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So that is a wrap on today's video. Little short, sharp Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took some value away from it as well, and just enjoyed it more than anything. You know, like I said before, I want to give you guys as much value as I can. I want to take you guys on a journey with me. You know, I'm doing like these little videos in between like the prep series, like X weeks out. I think they're going to be very good as well. So please like, comment, subscribe. Keep an eye out for the next one. The next one will be prep series 8 weeks out.